the reality is that there is lead in all the food we eat. There's lead in the soil in which our food is grown. And that was a big reason why they found that plant-based proteins had higher amounts of lead. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the How to Fitness podcast. I'm Kate Lyman.
And I'm Michael Ulloa.
And this is something a little different that we haven't done before, although I will say we've attempted this our fourth time trying, but let's pretend it's not. This is our new little walk and talk series where we're taking an opportunity to talk on some more timely topics with a quick little episode. We're trying to keep it under 10 minutes or close to, with the goal that you can get up and go on a little walk with us.
I like it. Okay, please do not peel back the curtain too much and tell people how bad we are with technology. Tech has not been our friend for these episodes. We're not taking it as like an indication of how much people will like these episodes, because I think it's a really solid idea and the people are going to really like a snappy, quick episode to follow along whilst they're exercising or stretching or working or whatever. So I'm excited for today.
I hope so. And I'm excited too. Okay, Michael, what are we talking about today?
Cool. So today we are talking about the consumer report that recently came out about the dangers of lead in the supplements that people are consuming. So they basically analyzed a whole list of supplements that are very popular, third-party tested supplements within the fitness space, mostly protein powders, and they basically reported that they are incredibly dangerous. The lead levels are worrying and people should stop consuming a few of them because the levels are so high. And we just wanted to kind of tackle the topic a little bit today, put people's minds at ease a little bit and show them that although we need to be aware of what we're consuming, maybe this isn't a reason to kind of completely freak out and stop taking all the supplements we have been so far. Yeah,
exactly. And throughout this, the last maybe 2 weeks since this report came out, have learned a lot about consumer reports. I don't think I was as clued into the kind of behind the scenes or the problematic history of them being really less than credible in several areas of reporting, especially around food safety. And this is something that will continue to haunt me for the rest of my life, by the way. I put out a little reel on this specific article because it was, I don't know, I think it was a lot of confirmation bias. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a supplement skeptic. This makes sense. And, I've left it up because I'm not going to delete it, but it was an opportunity for me to be like, okay, check myself. This is why it takes so long usually to create and vet my content, because headlines come out, they seem concerning, they can appeal to our confirmation bias and make us think a certain way, and we always have to be more skeptical of what they're saying and what the implications of said headlines are.
I am actually really glad you left that video up for all the reasons you just mentioned there, Kate, but also because I want it to also highlight we're people that spend a lot of time actively trying to educate ourselves and be really clued up on the research, and we'd like to think that we're quite good at sifting through all the nonsense and knowing exactly what's right and what isn't, but actually it's still, we make occasional little boo-boos. And I think that that's important to show because we're all human. This industry is so difficult to navigate. So yeah, we keep learning and we keep trying to educate our listeners and our followers as much as possible.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to sort through what is relevant, what is more fear-mongering, what is everything between. So I think with that, we should talk about kind of what this report said, what it got right, what it got wrong, and what it means for us as consumers. How does that sound?
Yeah, completely agree. I guess we should, first of all, just give a little rundown about who the consumer report people actually are, and a tiny little window into the history of what they do. So they are supposedly an independent regulatory body that kind of holds different industries, different approaches to account.
But to bring it back to this new article about lead and protein supplements, it was similar to what you just said. It was less of made up values from consumer reports themselves, although they did have a consumer report safe level, but they were reporting the level of lead in various supplements. They were going off of California's Prop 65 levels, which is this aggressively, insanely low level of lead intake.
So I think it's really important here, Kate, isn't it, for us, because we've done episodes on this in the past, is we want to emphasize the fact that safety around food supplements, sports supplements, is incredibly sketchy. I know you did that deep dive into it, didn't you, Kate? So I think you'll be the first person to say how problematic a lot of the practices are of these companies. So I do think that we need to be aware that what these companies say are in their products, there's probably a lot of variability in how accurate their claims are. So I think that that's maybe something that this report, if we can try and put a kind of a positive spin on it, it's maybe made a lot more people aware of some of the shady things that go on behind the scenes. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think what the report got wrong was that the levels in lead that they reported were like astronomically high or aggressively problematic for our overall health. The reality is that there is lead in all the food we eat. There's lead in the soil in which our food is grown, and that was a big reason why they found that plant-based proteins had higher amounts of lead. So what they got wrong was like really overemphasizing or dramatizing these levels of lead that they found in the supplements themselves. But what they got right, to your point, was like there are a lot of findings in peer-reviewed studies, and actually I'll throw these in the show notes, of higher levels of heavy metals, lead specifically, in various supplements, because the supplement industry is really underregulated.
Yep.
So there's like, this is kind of with anything, right? The kernel of truth that then like creates kind of a monster. Mm-hmm. So I think that's part of what they got right. And when I was reading through the Consumer Reports article again, at the bottom it says, okay, what are the takeaways for the consumer? And it says, don't get caught up in proteinifying all foods. You're probably getting enough through whole foods. Aim to get enough through whole foods, and be conscious of your supplementation. And I think the takeaway there is correct.
Yeah, I think that's kind of spot on, isn't it? It's just incredibly frustrating when I feel like we need greater regulation within the supplement industry. Companies like this that claim to be doing that are actually incredibly helpful, and I think we need more independent regulators doing this. But when they do it in a way that is scaremongering or misrepresenting data or using kind of questionable figures to go by what they consider to be safe, it actually just harms the industry further as a whole, because so many people now will be like, oh, well, that means this is nonsense, so I can just consume all the supplements that I want without any regard to safety levels. So that's why it's kind of a bit of a halfway house of us saying, okay, this report was a little bit much. We need to kind of just take it with a grain of salt. However, let's still be really wary of what we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because I think the takeaway shouldn't be straight dismissal of the findings, but like a little curiosity around them. The curiosity can tell us, hey, these were really overinflated. This was a dramatization. This was fear-mongering that wasn't actually founded, and can help me recognize that I should be skeptical and conscious of how I consume any supplements. We should go with third-party tested supplements, and maybe supplements should make up a small part of our overall intake, which should always be the goal, right? Yeah. Rather than something that we rely on heavily.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that summarizes it really, really nicely. I just to like pull back the curtain even further, I used one of the products that was on the list of was it number 1 or number 2 on the list of the high levels of lead?
It was number 2.
Yeah, the fuel one. So I struggle to find like a plant-based protein, and I've been using that occasionally over the last few months. So when it first came out, I was like, holy crap, am I poisoning myself? But then you start to kind of peel back the layers of the findings, and you realize that, okay, one of these a day is probably fine. However, don't consume more than one, because then you're probably tipping yourself over the levels of what like the FDA considered to be a safe consumption. Not that I was having more than one in the first place, but it just has made me more aware as well of like, okay, these products that are being third-party tested, maybe I need to be even more skeptical than I was before, to keep myself safe.
The Consumer Reports article, it used the CR experts safe level of lead, which is, I don't know what made up number. Then it used that California Prop 65, and then it also used the FDA relative intake level. So it used multiple different metrics to measure, which just adds to the confusion. Yeah. And for some of them, the intake was, the lead content was high relative to the FDA standards, but still not like alarmingly so, oh my gosh, we're all going to get lead poisoning. It's just exactly what you said. Okay, this is something I'm going to think about and recognize that supplements are meant to supplement and not meant to make up a majority of our intake.
I love that. I think we should leave it there, Kate. That summarizes it nicely. Yeah, anything else you want to add in there, or should we let people continue with their day?
No, that's great. I'm trying to, this has been a really good one to talk through because I have to check my own confirmation bias. I'm a supplement skeptic due to all the research you and I have done into the supplement industry. But I think something that you and I want all of our listeners to know and all our clients to know is that we don't need to buy into the constant fear mongering. We can be safe consumers and intentional consumers, and that's good enough.
Yeah, agreed. Great. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you all again soon.
Talk soon.